Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Three news stories for you. First one is from Eritrea. Eritrean embassy in the US has issued a statement disavowing a news outlet, a social media outlet. It is generally said that this news outlet has backing of Eritrean intelligence agency. Why was there a need for this statement from Eritrean embassy in the US? Secondly, voting was held at UN General Assembly calling for a ceasefire, humanitarian ceasefire in the Middle East between Hamas, PIJ, and Israeli military. Voting was held, and how did Africa respond? What about Ethiopia, Eritrea? Did this support the resolution? Obviously, Israel opposed the resolution, US as well. I'll have a look at what Africa did in the voting. And thirdly, uh, statements from Tigray government and Ethiopian Human Rights Commission yesterday. They exchanged some statements, very strong statement from Tigray government against Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia. Let's start with a new story from Eritrea. Eritrean media, we know that is not independent. There is just one television channel, one newspaper, one radio station, all owned by the government. There is no private media in Eritrea. But there are several news outlets, social media outlets, based abroad mainly, which are close to Eritrean government. Some are close to opposition as well. Some have backing of opposition. Some have backing of government. Government, though, denies having any links with these news outlets, social media pages, etc. One of these social media pages is Center for Research and Documentation of Interested Eritreans. It is generally said that this social media page is being run by Eritrean intelligence agency. And these people manage to get information from the ground, and their narrative, their position on issues always match with Eritrean government's position. So a statement has been issued now by Eritrean embassy in the US about this page. Name of the page is mentioned in the statement: Center for Research and Documentation of Interested Eritreans. This page, 3 to 4 days ago, asked all Eritreans to leave Ethiopia. The page stated that Ethiopia was going to start large-scale operation against Eritreans. Later, the page issued a statement which was an amendment. It said that no large-scale arrests were underway. Still, people should think about leaving Ethiopia. That was message for Eritreans staying in Ethiopia. Eritrean embassy in the US has disavowed the Center for Research and Documentation of Interest Eritreans. Embassy says that embassy or any government official, they have no links with this social media news outlet. But one point I want to make about the statement issued by Eritrean embassy in the US. The embassy has confirmed that this page is being run by Eritreans. The embassy says, almost quote unquote, the embassy says, Center for Research and Documentation of Interested Eritreans is being operated by interested Eritreans. How does the government know, by the way? How does Eritrean government know that this page is being run by Eritreans, interested Eritreans? It means Eritrean government knows who are the people running this page. Could there be other elements, non-Eritrean, Ethiopian, etc.? No. So Eritrean government has confirmed that this page is being run by Eritreans firstly. And it means that government knows who the people are. If you analyze the reporting of this page for the last 2 years, it's very clear that this page has links with Eritrean government, Eritrean intelligence agency, but obviously government intelligence agency, they will never acknowledge that they're backing this page. There are several others too. I know several other pages, news outlets, etc., which are backing of Eritrean government. Eritrean government uses these pages, social media accounts, activists to launch different narratives. Secondly, viewers, voting was held at UN General Assembly, calling for ceasefire, but put an end to the war between Israel and Palestinian groups. So, what was the result? What was the outcome? Did African countries support Palestine or Israel? The resolution was proposed by Jordan. Jordan shares a long border with Israel. It could be one of the affectees of this war. Almost entire Middle East backed the resolution except Iraq. Iraq abstained from voting. Very surprising for me. Africa mostly stood on the side of Palestine because we know that African Union is pro-Palestine due to Arab countries' influence in Africa. So most of African countries, they supported the resolution. Only a few either absented themselves or abstained from voting. No one in Africa opposed the resolution. Eritrea, Somalia, Kenya, Djibouti all backed the resolution. So they are standing with the Palestinians, saying that there should be immediate stopping of war and unconditional supply of aid to the people of Gaza. Ethiopia, interestingly, abstained from voting. Though Ethiopian non-official position is that it supports a two-state solution to the conflict, and it has been calling for protection of Palestinians' rights. But here, Eritrea stood with Palestine. It seems Ethiopia abstained from voting. Only a few African countries abstained from voting. Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Cameroon. Only 3 African countries abstained from voting. Some were absent, like Burkina Faso, Burundi, Benin, Rwanda, Togo. Around 9 countries, 9 abstentions, and rest of African countries, they backed Palestinian position. For me, Ethiopian position is surprising. It means that though Ethiopia not supporting Israel, at the same time, it's not supporting Palestine. Maybe Ethiopia wants to be seen as neutral in this conflict. That is why Ethiopia abstained from voting. But all Ethiopian neighbors except South Sudan, they backed the resolution. Sudan as well. Sudan, Eritrea, Somalia, Djibouti, Kenya, all backed the resolution. Lastly, viewers, Tigray and Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia have exchanged some statements. Tigray leveled allegations against Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia. Yesterday, Tigray government issued a statement. Tigray President Getachew said that Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia was peddling lies. It was sharing misinformation. The commission, in a statement, said that the refugees had returned. IDPs displaced due to the war in northern Ethiopia had returned to their homes. That led to a very strong statement from Tigray. Tigray said that refugees, IDPs, still suffering. These IDPs mostly are in Tigray. They have not been able to return to their homes in West and Southern zones. The Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia statement is false. Then came the statement from Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, which spoke yesterday. Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia says that its statement was about other regions, not about Tigray. Tigray was not included. Because from June 2014 till June 2015, Tigray was not accessible. That is why data of Tigrayan IDPs is not included. Rather, the statement was about Amhara, Afar IDPs who have mostly returned to their places. In a way, Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia tried to correct. So it should have been clear in its first statement. But main crisis of IDPs these days is in Tigray. Tens of thousands of Tigrayans are still in makeshift camps, and despite calls from Tigray interim government for the rehabilitation, return of these IDPs to their homes, no progress has been made, and most of them are from western and southern zones. Tulkayat Sagade, Rayal Matakoram, which are contested territories between Tigray and Amhara regions. No progress made so far. We heard a few months ago from Sadkan that before rainy season, these IDPs could start returning to their homes, but it has not happened so far. Because immediately before the start of return of IDPs, we saw start of a conflict, armed conflict in the Amhara region. Fano fighters, they are fighting against Ethiopian National Defense Force. That delayed the matter. So before that, government tried to to prepare the ground for the return of IDPs by dismantling and disbanding Amhara Special Force, but that move backfired, and Fano groups organized themselves, and that led to start of a major escalation, armed escalation in the Amhara region. Return of IDPs now delayed. Tigray wants return IDPs immediately. Ethiopian government trying to control the situation in the Amhara region, not in a position fully to enforce its writ in the areas where refugees are going to go to. That is why the issue of refugees of Tigray, IDPs of Tigray, is still unresolved. What about refugees of Tigray who are in Sudan? Still no strategy regarding the return. They're mostly from Western zone as well, and they're still suffering in Sudan, a war in Sudan. Some have managed to make it back to Ethiopia, but I think thousands are still in Sudan where there is war ongoing. So issue of Tigrayans, refugees in Sudan and Tigrayan IDPs in Tigray, both still unresolved. Thank you for watching.